Oh my lord. Oh, that's not good. Are you going the right way? I'm gonna ask that stupid question.
Righty, tighty, lefty, loosey.
And it was at this point that James knew he had made a massive mistake.
You're going the wrong way.
No.
Surely not. It is the wrong way.
Drink?
Oh, what is that?
That nearly smells like kerosene.
Today was the day to get the old wreck going that I've had sitting out the back of the shed for the last 2 months. This is a 1984 model HJ47 with also a 2H motor in it. Really wanted to get it started to see if it was healthy and whether it was worth rebuilding or not, or even just chuck it in Lance as is, maybe adding a turbo down the track. So we started by replacing the fuel filter with a brand new one and removing the line that goes to the tank and putting it into a jerry can full of nice clean diesel. The diesel that was actually in the car was horrendous. It didn't even smell like diesel. I don't know whether it was just because it was that old or someone had poured something else in the tank, but it definitely didn't look like anything that would ignite anymore.
So the only thing I'm not sure of is this little rig up I've got here. So there's an oil pressure gauge and there's an oil pressure switch. So that's the switch. So when it's earthed,
It should switch on.
so is that on or is that closed though? That's what I'm not sure, because it activates your edit control. So it shuts the fuel off if you've got no oil pressure. So one way it'll work, one way it won't. Pretty much.
Copy.
Right, you want a battery? So this is something I prepared earlier.
Hey.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, looks good.
So these are our earth cables. A little bit more.
Got diesel to there. Well, it won't work because this is shut off. It's shut off.
That's right. So why don't we put it all back together and we just hit the key, eh? Because that'll, well, when you hit the ignition it opens.
That's right. It's turning this one.
Very good. So the EDIC arm is shutting the fuel off, so no matter how much we pump that, well, no matter how much we pump the primer, it won't let it to the injectors.
We think.
Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds reasonable. I don't know which way's on and which way's off. That's the thing. We can, we do have a reference vehicle behind us. Do you want to have a look? At this point, we were certain there wasn't fuel getting past the pump for some really strange reason. So we really started digging deep, started taking some fuel lines off, and this is where the journey really began.
They're still not giving you diesel.
Come on.
I can smell start, you bastard, all the way.
You're right.
So by this point, we really just started repeating what we'd already done over and over again, and it was probably time to call it quits a lot earlier than what we did. We managed to flatten both batteries just about. We put the lithium starter out of Lance into this old thing. We cranked it. We used the whole can to start your bastard, or ether, whatever you want to call it, but the bastard just wouldn't start. It was time to tow it into the shed. We admitted defeat for the afternoon, but we weren't fully defeated yet. The story continues.
Turn your lights on, mate, it's dark.
So I've swapped the fresh Bisley for an older, shittier Bisley. Today's going to get filthy dirty. Really going to get into this thing. Basically, I'm going to cut it in half and make the front half of the chassis an engine stand. I'm going to keep working on getting this thing going, but for now I need to strip it out. I'm starting to sell some parts off it. So I really only bought this for the engine, gearbox and transfer, to have something to rebuild whilst we're still driving Lance. I don't want to take him off the road and then do a great big engine build that takes 2 or 3 months. Yes, we're going to chop the car in half. I want to keep the firewall there and be able to bolt the guards back onto the frame while it's sitting in the shed, just so I can mock up turbos and things in the engine bay, and I don't have to do it on Lance itself. But yeah, it's going to be a dirty, messy job. We'll get the reciproco and an angle grinder, go into it. It's going to be a long day. Righto, so the plan is I'll cut all the body up into manageable pieces that I can carry out and put into the ute. Then I'm going to cut the chassis just behind the gearbox cross member. We'll be left with a factory chassis engine mount for a 2H. Let's go. So as you can see, like the rots got into this thing bad. It was a coastal car, I know that from the rego papers that was still in the glove box. But it's so funny how some things have survived. That is really quite minor. Mine were a lot worse than that. Mine was a country car. The rest of it's perfect. That would definitely be worth repairing. So any of you guys out there that are, you know, 40 fanatics, don't stress, I'm not throwing away anything good. Someone will want that one day for sure. But the majority of the body and chassis is quite stuffed, so just keep cutting it up into manageable pieces and take it out the back to the trailer and off to the tip. Righto, we'll pull the tail shaft out and a bit of a tidy up. We'll try and get this rack made for the front and put it up on stands, get that front housing out, then that's ready to go in the morning. Then we'll look at making a rack for the back half of the chassis. I'm going to cut it here just behind the gearbox cross member. And then yeah, we've still got the starter motor then obviously if I don't take the gearbox off. I was thinking of taking the gearbox out, but that would be silly because then we won't be able to start it. And that's the whole point of this. I want to make sure it runs and we can muck around with it in the shed, learn a heap about a 2H and how the pump works, and then eventually rebuild it and chuck him in land. This will be set up in my shed for probably a long time, and I've got kids running around and stuff, so it needs to be right. So that's not coming off. I'm confident with that. Okay, so once I take the leads out, I'm going to put a cross brace back on it. She is sweet. These things are freaking heavy. I'm starting to get flashbacks of Lance here. There's a shot of Lance that looks exactly like this. I'll finish the frame on that front half and then we'll wheel it over into the corner, turn the arse end into a bit of a trailer, tow it out of the road, and then clean up this shit fight. Well, that was a massive fail. I lowered it down onto the removalist dolly and it's just too heavy for it. It's obviously heavier than 200 kilos, so I was only guessing. I think this end will work, but it's no good if I can't get the other end off the ground, so I may have to look at some heavy duty casters or something. Oh, so close. All right, option 2 here. We're gonna move that bar, I've just cut it off. Love doing things twice, but I'll keep going until I get this. I do have another jockey wheel in the corner. It's actually a really good ARC XO 750 off an old trailer. So we'll put another jockey wheel on the front as well, and I might be able to just move one end at a time, I think. Anyway, we'll keep trying. has to work. I'm running out of ideas. I'm really just making sure I don't have to go out of the shed to buy something. I'm trying to use everything I can in here. And it's making it hard. Either a really good advertisement for Arc XO or a bad one. We'll see. It's moving, it's moving. Oh my God. I've done some strange and some dodgy things in my time. That's definitely up there. Anyway, that's the spot I want to keep it. That gives me enough room in the shed to still park nearly 2 cars and work on other projects as well. Oh my God, I own a beer, I think. Phew. I do have a lot of bits of steel and crap I've accumulated over the years, and I knew it would come in handy one day, and I've got my time in the shed now. So weld that on, and I've got a design for a bit of a hitch on this. I think you guys will love it, or laugh, one of the two. I'm kind of laughing as I do it. Righto, look out, Cruise Master. How good's that? Yes, 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 yes. Ooh, I better paint that before someone steals it. That's gonna just tow like a dream, I'm sure. Okay, we're gonna make some decent extended battery cables here, so we can sit the battery on the floor and leave the charger hooked up to it. So while we're mucking around in between starting it, we'll actually still have power, unlike yesterday when the bloody thing kept going flat. Mind you, this could start first click.
Good.
For the battery.
Yes, because concrete apparently zaps the batteries.
Really?
Yes.
Is that not a tale, or is that...
Well, I don't know.
Does setting your battery on concrete kill the battery? I think I have heard that.
I think so.
There you go. Look at this, we're actually doing things half properly today. And then,
Half.
And then next minute.
Next minute.
Check out this, you're going to have to... Oh. Be a damn sight better than what we did the very first time.
Mm.
That's nice, I like that, James. Think of all that money I saved in electrical tape too. Beauty. Doesn't sound very fast straight away.
No. I'd say that battery is no good. We'll undo these.
So you reckon you got diesel past the pump?
Yep.
So why does it not go any further though?
No, well now it will because it had an airlock in it.
So why wouldn't it have relieved the air with these?
Well, so you can compress air, but you can't compress diesel. And you said it's got, what did you say, 300 psi or whatever it is?
3,000 I read, but yeah, but I mean when we took, what's the difference between taking that off and that
because
off?
Because this
though?
is releasing the whatever they are in there, the
plunger.
O-ring or the plunger or whatever it is in there. It's
Yeah,
releasing
right.
the pressure, letting the diesel go past.
Black shit. Righto. Well, we'll do all those, and then what? Still leave the injector lines off, you reckon?
Well, we can, then we'll see if she starts pumping diesel up out of there.
Yep.
Then we'll, what's the name? And then we'll go to here.
Start at the injectors.
Why isn't that fire? Hang on, wait.
Getting hot. Smoke. It's here. It's here. Is this here? Yeah, it's fucking hot. Ah, it's really hot. That bolt's about to melt. That there will be getting real hot. That's your bus bar for your globe. Yeah, it's cooking hot. Battery's good though.
Battery's good.
Battery's winner. So far the battery's working better than anything else. Why can't we possibly see some diesel now?
Well, that's right. Why?
There's one person I can ring. Hey mate, how you going?
Well, we have really tried everything. We have fuel at the filter. We have fuel at the end of the rack. There's a little bleed screw at the end of the rack. We've tried absolutely everything to get fuel to pump through this pump. I've rang me mate Tom. He's the wizard of Land Cruisers. And yeah, it's a weird one. So the question of whether it... Well, I really was going to leave it there and admit defeat. But Jamesy just couldn't leave it alone and really wanted to get this thing going. Tom had sent through a little video of how the internals of the pump itself works, and it really sparked us on to dig deeper inside the pump, open it up, and have a good old look. It was a little bit scary, and it's not something you'd want to do on your own vehicle, opening up an injection pump like that. But this is a big reason of why I'm doing this with this engine. It's just to learn so much about them. Upon removing the side cover of the pump, we realised that the rack was stuck in the closed position. There was never a chance of this motor starting without pulling that pump apart and digging a little bit deeper. It's just having the balls to have a go sometimes that really gets you over the line. We were super confident it was going to start. We could actually see how this all worked once we'd done a bit of research and then pulled it apart ourselves and really learned a lot that night. And as you'll see, there was a happy ending to this story after all.
Gonna start.
It's gonna go. So simple.
Well, kinda. That's well, like if that was in your everyday car, you'd be scared to pull that side cover off, wouldn't you? Well, I had given up. I'd done the outro and everything, and James, you've done well, mate.
Well, we worked it out, didn't we?
We did, and we said it would run, and it has, and it bloody looks really healthy. Very little blow by, so I'm very excited right now. So now we're going to leave it there. We can finish it on a good note. Don't forget, you only live once.
Get out there and enjoy it.
See you next time. Bye.